Hello, hello, my beloved waking gods and goddesses. Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty. Do it yourself, spiritual awakening for divine in the flesh, where together we learn how to surf, hack, and navigate the ups and downs of the totality of human experience, creating a new earth beyond the limitations of this perception managed reality matrix of five senses, having discovered our true divine creative natures in our true sensual sensorial universe of seven senses, composing formless into formats of the matrix in the true quantum field creation field universe. Before we get started, please do give this video a thumbs up. Please also hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, selecting the all settings so that when I upload videos, the YouTube will let you know. I generally upload Tuesdays and Fridays 2 p.m. Eastern. My name is Maria West and I am your hostess of the highest, here to download, upload, inspire, and usher you into your bestest and brightest light, your bestest and brightest selves, and inviting you all to open your hearts wider and wider and wider and wider still. Hello, my love bugs, my honey bunnies, my boobalas. Mwah! Welcome to Love, Truth, and Beauty, episode 254. And in today's video, I am continuing with populating my video series playlist of reading aloud a translation that went from the Russian to the Arabic to the English of Hacking the Technogenic System by Vadim Zeland, who brought transurfing to the universe. We hope that Vadim translates the book to English very soon, but until he does that, we have a vase, and with the personal efforts of my friends Moheel, Jawad, and Teodora, Salvia, who took it upon themselves to take on the task of sharing this wealth of knowledge, particularly during this time in our human history. So I'm doing my part to share this valuable information so that it can be integrated into knowledge and further integrated into wisdom. So grab your favorite beverages, my loves, and sit back and allow me to read to you Chapter 8 of Moheel, Jawad's, and Teodora Salvia's translation of, now starting Part 2 of Hacking the Technogenic System, this chapter entitled Social Parasites. Today is the best day. It is the day of the battle against fools. Now, in order to understand why people have difficulties in dealing with transurfing, we need to know the structure of our social incubator. Let's start first with the difficult issues. Sometimes I receive letters from people who clearly seem to be disturbed by something, and the transurfing did not achieve what they were expecting from it. In general, I do not like to open this topic at all because the provocations of some pendulum makers can be neglected and you can act indifferent to them. Except that if there is phenomenon, it is not wise to ignore it. The phenomenon is present here, and one of its manifestations can be summarized as follows. I receive messages from people who have a sincere belief that my work should not be paid. For example, how many of us know this one? A letter from a reader in which he says, one of the reasons that prompted me to read Transurfing is the integrity of the author and his distance from any ambition, as he used to give the books for free without asking anything in return. But now the whole process looks like a business venture. Answer. Okay. Well, to begin with, I have never distributed my books for free. But when someone was asking for a text from me, I would send it to them. Second, if you have beliefs as such that a person should work for free, then go to work for free, okay, can you do this? Or are we talking half-truths and avoid the answer? Okay, if we behave with integrity and honesty, each of us in this way or another produces something and receives a reward for that. And if you ever come to the sender of this message, ask him for something of what he produces, but he will not give you anything of that without charge in any way. But for some reason, he had a belief that I owed him. Not only do I owe him, but I am compelled to give him my best for free. And this is the mindset of the parasites. I'm not saying that such messages shock me, but they certainly surprise me. I look at such things with disgust and at the same time with the curiosity of the researcher. In fact, the phenomenon is almost a case that requires medical attention and deserves a focused study. We all know without a doubt that there are parasites in the body. Okay, listen up. And I know more than that. There are parasites in consciousness, like mind parasites. But then there are also social parasites. And what is surprising is that there are not many studies looking at this topic as a general phenomenon. Since I am not qualified enough as expert on this issue, I will not elaborate on it, and I will be content with presenting some opinions only. Hence, we can summarize this chapter through the following points. Number 1, I went down to this level of discussion intentionally to clarify things that seemed obvious. And here is the crux of the matter, as there are those who do not understand the significance of the simpler things. Number 2, the truth is that those huge sums that the parasite imagines that famous authors collects, they do not really exist and are much more modest than they are fancy. Okay? At the same time, the percentage of effort expended in the completion of intellectual work does not at all correspond to its very modest financial return. And for someone who has not practiced this type of work, it can be very difficult to imagine this fact. Number 3, nor does Transurfing Center give reassurance to such parasites because they cannot coexist peacefully with the fact that someone gets money through education. But Transurfing emerged as a result of the need for this kind of education. And this means that someone needs that. Did the teachers have to do their work for free? Okay? Managing these lessons requires high efficiency and making every effort possible. But parasites do not realize, for example, how much effort a teacher who works in a regular school makes in administrating lessons because they cannot appreciate the efforts of others. And not only that, but one of them will not make an effort to think about this topic at all. Personally, I do not get any income from the work of the Transurfing Center, as I do not give the lessons there. But when I give lessons there, it will provide me an income. Otherwise, how can I give them? Number 4, if I lost my faith in an author whose books I read before, I will stop following him and I will not come close to anything he publishes, right? As for you, I mean those who send me such messages, why don't you leave? Why? Here is the door wide open. And I had said before, and I continue to say, I do not invite anyone to me. Number 5, suppose that I will not receive anything in return for my books as well, in which case I must search for another job to make money from. Will I have time for the things I do now? So here you stop and everyone goes their own way. That's nonsense, absurd and pointless, isn't it? But are the parasites' claims anything other than pointless nonsense? But these people live amongst us, and the social incubator has recognized them as full-fledged persons. How can such a phenomenon have a place to live? Number 6. After the fall of the Tsarist regime in Russia, during which the development of the bureaucratic system had reached a pathogenic level, the hope of the Bolsheviks was, we will remove it from its roots. And then they have already destroyed it, but nothing has changed. Immediately after that, the bureaucratic system flourished again, reaching the height of barbarism. Lenin stood desperate, watching what happened after the revolution, and shook his head, not knowing what to do. It was not the destruction that occurred that worried him the most. Neither did the crisis nor the resistance to the revolution, that it had not been completely eliminated, not even the fools and the methods to be followed. All of this was not such a big deal as much as the growth of the unbridled bureaucratic system that was growing and expanding automatically according to its own laws. And any orders or instructions were not useful with it. Many of us still remember the war that was waged against the bureaucratic system in the socialist era, and it continued until the fall of the socialist system. But these days, they hide in the bureaucracy. They fight corruption, and again, they reap a profit. History does not teach us anything. It seems clear that the war against social parasites, like the war against parasites in the body, is a futile and pointless war, and therefore work must be done to establish certain conditions so that the survival of those parasites becomes unbearable, rather impossible. Okay, number 7, even if we take into account the historical heritage, it seems incomprehensible and surprising to me. How can contemporary intellectuals seriously believe that someone owes them when they are not compelled to give anything in return? And if the conclusion is that we do not in principle understand each other and that we are very different and very disparate, as if we were from 2 different planets, then we should stay as far away from each other as possible. But one cannot always ignore the emergence of a different issue once it appeared. If you ignore the parasites in the body, they will settle inside you and consume you slowly. You cannot ignore social parasites either. When you enter a state, institution and request a document, the employee holds the document in one hand and holds out his other hand. Transurfing will not save you from this or that, but salvation from the body parasites and passing danger, because it is known, is through natural food, clean water, and clean air. But where is the rescue of social parasites? No one has succeeded in discovering it yet, but we will continue to search. Number 8, the system begins its development journey with the establishment of its bureaucratic system. Number 9, Transurfing books are available free of charge on the internet and are unobstructed, but nothing is free and nothing is given to you. You have to choose between reading the original copies within the framework of the official ways to obtain them and reading non-original copies. And in this case, I do not guarantee that you will obtain the correct information through non-original copies. All that matters to me now is that you do not have a forged book bearing the Transurfing brand in your hands. Okay? All right, my loves, there you have it. That is my speech. And isn't it very interesting that I am doing what I'm doing, and I'm doing what I'm doing because I want to share this. I want to share this translation. So I hope you enjoyed my reading of Chapter 8, Social Parasites. And next up is Chapter 9, entitled Grabbing Attention. So please help me grow my channel by giving this video a thumbs up and leaving comments in the comments box below or in private. Please share this video with your families, friends, families, friends, communities, and on social media platforms you feel would benefit from this content. Please hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell, selecting the all setting so that the YouTube will let you know when I upload next. And if you find value, enjoy, benefit from my content or my videos, or at least entertained by them, won't you please consider supporting my work and efforts through a donation? My PayPal link is right below, as is also my coffee.com/Bikini Kiss link, so that you can buy me the proverbial cup of coffee. I thank you all so much for hanging out with me, with your participation and focused attention. I really do appreciate it. I cannot do this work without you, and I do this work for those of you who know that there is so much more to life than what the Matrix tries to convince you is only about life and living, and tries to define you in these limited ways. So until next time, my dear hearts, always act from love, outside of the matrix, from your center screen, composing new reality. That's right. Let's quantum quantum jump and go higher and higher and higher in our lifeline so that you can all help me repopulate the true quantum field creation field universe with your own contributions and creativity. Big love, my loves. Until next time, here's to love, truth, and beauty. Mwah!